Good morning and Tashidelek. So welcome to the last week of our lesson. Okay, so today is the last day. So we have been teaching for the past 7 weeks. Okay, yes. So during these online session, okay, I have learned. Okay, to be frank, I have learned so many new things, and I'm sure you have also learned so many new things. Okay, yes. So today what we are going to do, we are not going to teach anything, because whatever topics, whatever lesson we have in our framework, okay, the book on which we have been, where our teaching is based on, we have almost covered all the topics. Okay, so today what we are going to do, we are going to do the recapitulation of all the lessons that we have done. Okay, yes. So you can see on the board, okay, recap and review of the lessons of the week 1 to 7. Okay, so today is the 8th week. Okay, yes. So just like Ketenchola, I'm going to do the recapitulation, and I don't know how far this recapitulation will be, for you, because if you have attended all the online classes, then it will be a recapitulation which will be very helpful. But if you have missed some session here and there, then I don't know how far this recapitulation will work for you. Okay, nevertheless, so let us try to go through the topics, and when you go through this topic, you just it's better if you try to take note of some of the topics, okay, so that if you are not that much satisfied, if you are interested in learning more about that thing, since you have got that topic, then you can refer, you can Google it, you can ask your teacher, okay, yes, so that you will be familiar with the topics. Okay, yes. So I want you to take a look at these slides. You remember? Okay, yes, the first lesson was the parts of the speech. Okay, we started from the words, and then we move on to the sentence, and then gradually to paragraphs and essays. So in the parts of speech, you see, we have done all these things: noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunctions, interjection. Okay, yes, I have just gave you some example, and I have also stressed on the types of verb. Okay, yes, out of all the 8 the part of speech, we basically focus on the verbs. So generally when I say, okay, when not only me, if somebody say verb, we always have the main verb. When I say, is there any verb, then we look for all the words which show some action. But that was not the case. Okay, yes. So when I say verb, we are not just talking about the principal verb like eat and play and like this. The moment you don't see any of these words in a sentence, you just give up and say, oh, there isn't any verb. But that was not the case. So I told you. Now through my session, you have learned that there are different types of verbs. When I say verb, we are not just talking about the principal verb, main verb. Okay, there are other verbs. So what are these verbs? We have got the principal verb. The second one, we have got the helping verb, and we have got the linking verb. So we say that whenever you write any sentence in English, there isn't any sentence which does not have a verb. Okay, yes. So that is the thing. So whenever you write sentence, make sure that your sentence has a verb. If there is no main verb, it's okay. At least there should be one helping verb or a linking verb. You got it? Okay, yes. So that is what we did. And then after talking about the words, we talk about the group of words. When we talk about the group of words, you see there are 2 types. Okay, yes, phrase and clause. Phrase is a group of words. Clause is also a group of words. So we talked about the clause. Okay, yes. So in the clause, we have got 2 types. First one is independent clause, and the second one is dependent clause. So independent, from the word itself, it's very easy for you to understand. Independent, it does not depend on any other sentence. Okay, it makes its own meaning. For example, Tashi writes a letter. Okay, that is a independent clause. First, why this is a clause? This is a clause because it is a group of words, and it also has a subject and a verb. Subject is Tashi, writes is verb. So subject and verb, and this clause is independent, right? Okay, and the second type of clause is dependent clause. Dependent clause means the clause which has to depend on something else in order to make a complete sense. For example, he writes. Okay, he writes. So that is not a complete. In order to make a complete sentence, it has to depend on something else. Okay, so in this case, if he writes, he will improve. Okay, and then it makes a complete sentence. So you see the first clause. Okay, if he writes, it's dependent. It has to depend. So that is what we learn, and then we are moving. What should I say? Higher. Okay, words, clause, phrase, and next comes the sentences. Okay, you remember we have taken session on the types of sentences. What are the different types of sentences? When I say different types of sentence, we have got different sentences on the basis of the structure, how the sentence is formed, and the sentence which is based on the function. What type of function? Is it exclamatory? Is it declarative? It is interrogative? That is a different case. Now here I'm talking about the different types of sentence in terms of its structure. Okay, yes. So how many are there? There are 4. First one is simple sentence, second compound, complex sentence, and final compound complex sentence. Okay, yes, so that is the thing. So we have already learned this, we have done a session on this. Okay, yes. And next, we are going to move on to what we say, the types of sentences. Okay, yes. And I took a session on the compound sentence and compound complex. So what is a compound sentence? Compound sentence is a sentence which has got 2 independent clauses. Now, how do we get 2 independent clauses? We get 2 independent clauses by using one conjunction. Okay. The simple conjunction. Okay, so what is that conjunction? We have that acronym called fanboys. Okay, yes, fanboy is a acronym where F stands for and. Okay, A stands for and. Okay, B stands for but. Okay, now these are the fanboys. Okay, for example, I love Momo and she loves chow mein. Okay, yes. So this is an example of compound sentence. Why this is a compound sentence? We see 2 independent clauses. I love Momo, that is an independent clause, makes a complete sense. She loves chow mein, complete sense. Okay, and these 2 independent clauses are joined by fanboys, that conjunction. And what is the conjunction here? The conjunction is and. Okay, yes. Now after that, we move on to the writing process. You got it? So whenever you do a small piece of writing, it's very important for you to follow the writing process. Normally, like you, okay, I also do what should I say, small kind of writing without any what should I say, writing process. Now, when you follow writing process, and then you will realize that the one way you have followed writing process, that piece of writing becomes much better because everything is planned, you have worked hard, you have also done your homework. Okay, yes. So it's very important for you to follow the writing process. Even if the writing is very small or long or like this, you should not underestimate the power of that writing process. So when I say writing process, you must be familiar. Okay, now there are basically 5. Okay, yes. In CBSE textbook, I remember telling you about the CODER. Okay, CODER acronym. Okay, yes, where C stands for collect ideas. First of you collect ideas and then organize. And do you do a draft? And then what should I say, you edit and then you finally rewrite. Okay, CODER like this. Okay, yes. Now here in our writing process, there are 5 what should I say, processes. The first one is PreWriting, which plays a very important role because if somebody asks you to write a small piece of writing, we run short of some ideas. What should we do? Okay, yes. So in the PreWriting stage, what do? You just try to collect all the ideas. Okay, you jot down all. Don't worry about anything. Okay, yes. So that's the first one. And in the second, we have got drafting. You start writing and then revising, editing, publishing. Okay, yes. Gitanjula has also covered all this session. Okay, this topic in her session. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat. Okay, yes. So these are the writing process: pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, publishing. Okay, yes. And also this is very important. Okay, in the pre-writing stage, you can say before you write anything, these two important things should be there in the back of your mind. Okay, whoever would you say a writer is a grade or amateur or anything, these two things always run in the back of their mind. First is, what is your purpose? We write, we speak, we tell. Okay, there is some purpose. So you should be what should I say, familiar with what is your purpose. Are you telling? Are you requesting? Are you ordering, or are you just sharing something, or are you explaining? There are so many purposes. According to the purpose, you know, okay, yes, there are different type of text structures. So it's very important. Okay, what is my purpose? And the second one is your audience. Okay, according to the audience, if you are a good writer, your writing changes. If you are writing something for all the Tibetan, okay, yes, your writing will be different. If you are writing this to the foreign audience, your writing will be different. If you are writing something for your students, your writing will be different. If you are writing this for the adults or your colleagues, like your writing differs. You got it? So it's important for you to have the purpose and the audience. That is very important. Okay, and then you just try according to these two things, you plan. Okay, yes. And then after writing, after becoming familiar with the sentences, and then we move on to the paragraph writing. What is a paragraph? Paragraph is a group of sentences. Now all the group of sentences does not become a paragraph. So paragraph, it's little more than that. It's not just a group of sentences, but it has got one topic and it just talk about only one idea. Okay, yes. So in paragraph writing, what are the things that you have to keep in mind? We have to keep in mind these things. Okay, first one is topic sentence. So what is a topic sentence? Topic sentence is a sentence on which all the remaining sentences revolve around. Okay, yes. And normally the topic sentence always comes in the beginning. So whenever you come across any paragraph, you will get the topic sentence on top of the paragraph, or maybe the first line. Okay, yes. And then you will get some idea what this paragraph is all about, because everything is mentioned in the first sentence. So that is a topic sentence. So in paragraph, topic sentence plays very important role. Okay, whenever you write a paragraph, don't write 2, 3 topic sentences. Each paragraph should have only one topic sentence. You got it? Okay, yes. And then below that topic sentence, you are going to support. Okay, yes. If you say your topic is, I like online class, now that is the topic sentence. Now you have to support this, why you like online class. Okay, now we have got supporting details, and finally we have the concluding sentence. Okay, you have to conclude. So normally the conclusion and the introduction somewhat remain same. The only difference is we used to alter some words here and there. Okay, yes. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind. What is that? Okay, topic sentence, supporting details, and concluding sentence. Okay, yes. So when you write, whenever you write something, it's important for you to be familiar with some of the words. Okay, yes. So when I say words, I'm just talking about the transition. Okay, transition. You should be familiar with the word transition. Okay, transit. You are not supposed to stop. You are not supposed to pause there for permanently. Okay, yes. So the transit. You stop for some time and then you have to move on. You cannot stay there for permanently. The word itself speaks, isn't it? For example, when I say first of all, so I should not stay there first of all, then stop. Okay, first of all, then automatically I have to move on, okay, because first of all it's a transition, and then comes next, then, okay, secondly, and then finally, okay, and finally, whenever I come across finally, then which you are going to stop, okay, yes. So you see the transition, these words are very important, okay. These transition words help the reader to understand all the, okay, this is the beginning one, this is the middle, this is the final one, okay, yes. So these are very important. As a writer, you should make use of these transition words, okay, yes. And then we are familiar with the different type of writing. Now we are talking about what are the different types. Okay, yes, you know how to write a paragraph. Now, what are the different types of writing? Okay, yes. So we basically talk about the 4 types. Okay, there are others. Okay, but basically we talk about these 4 types. First one is narrative. Second one is descriptive. Third one is expository, and the last one is persuasive writing. Now, if you know how to write, okay, now there are different ways of writing. Your writing may be a narrative where you narrate something, some incident, just like a story or like this. When you do this narrative writing, there are some particular words. We have got signal words, okay, which will give us some kind of a clue, okay. And in the narrative, since we are narrating, since we are telling some stories or even, it's important for us to use this transition. What comes first? What comes next? What came finally? Okay, so these transition you got to keep in mind. Okay, yes. And the second one is descriptive. Okay, yes, this is the writing that I covered in my session. Okay, the word describe, you are describing. So when I say describe, I focused on showing rather than telling. Okay, if you look at all your writing, you just go through this, we will get some idea that most of your writing is in telling form. Okay, you are telling something, but you are not showing. So how do we make our writing looks like a showing? Because we have to use all the descriptive words. Okay, yes, we talk about the senses 5. How does it feel? How does it smell? How does it see? How does it touch? All these things. You got it? So in descriptive, we have to describe, we have to show, we have to try to create that same picture in the mind of the reader. Okay, so I remember giving you some example. Okay, Dharamsala is very beautiful. It's just a telling. Okay, beautiful. How it is beautiful. Okay, you have to tell. Okay, the mountains, the rivers, the sound, the air, all this. Now, if you write like this, then it becomes a good descriptive writing. Okay, so if you are interested in knowing more about this, you have to watch the videos. Okay, yes. So descriptive writing, we talk about the senses, and here we have to show. Don't try to tell. Okay, what is the difference between show and tell? Tell, there isn't anything you are describing, you are just telling. Okay, it's dirty, it's good, it's hot, it's nice, it's beautiful, all these things. You are not being descriptive. Okay, so that makes it different. And the third type of writing is expository. From the word itself, it expose, show, inform, explain, descriptive. I told you most of this expository writing you will find in the textbook, reference book, journals. Okay, yes. And the last type of writing is persuasive writing, where you persuade. Okay, yes. That is the. Now these are the 4 types of writings, and then we talk about, when I say descriptive writing, I talk about it's important for us to use the descriptive words. Not only descriptive words, we also use the figure of speech. So I remember telling you what is a figure of speech. Figure of speech is a language which has got different meaning. Okay, yes. For example, he is a lion. Okay, he is a lion in the battle. Okay, lion, it has got different meaning. And in one sense, I'm talking about the animal lion. Okay, on the other, I'm just talking about other things. So it has got a figurative language. Okay, so in descriptive writing, you have to also use figure of speech. Now, when I say figure of speech, what are these things? Okay, the first one is simile. Okay, where you compare two things by using the word like. Okay, he is like, she is like Mother Teresa. Okay, yes, comparison. Okay, metaphor, same word, but the word like and as are not there. One is she is like Mother Teresa. Okay, the metaphor is she is Mother Teresa. Okay, yes. So the direct comparison and indirect comparison. So casually I used to tell my children, okay, yes, whenever you are praising something, instead of using simile, it's better you use metaphor, because you are giving a direct comparison. You are oxygen. you are the Mother Teresa of our class, like this. Now, if you are, sometimes we talk about the bad things. So, whenever you are talking about the bad things, instead of using metaphor, which is a direct comparison, you can use the simile, okay? Yes, indirect. So, that is just which is an example. And the other one is personification, where we give human qualities to inanimate object. Okay, now like this. Here I remember giving you an example of this is Chundula's poem, you know, when it rains in Dharamsala, the raindrops, just like a boxing gloves, like this. So this is descriptive. We are trying to create an image of the monsoon season in Dharamsala. So how the writer paints the image of that thing, not by the pen and brush, but by using the words. Now here, what kind of what should I say, skill he or she use? Okay, what are the words? He or she use the figure of speech, especially the personification. You got it? And then we have the imagery. Okay, yes, the words which gives us image. Okay, I told you the floor is very dirty. Okay, instead of saying the floor is very dirty, dirty does not have any image. Okay, the floor is filled with litters. Okay, yes, the food littered floor means then I can see the floor filled with food and all these things. So this is imagery. Okay, yes. So we talk about figure of speech, and then out of all the 4 types of writing, okay, I talked about expository, okay, which is also called informational writing. So that's why you will find majority of these writing in a textbook. You have got science textbook, social textbook, math, so many things. Okay, we have got magazines, we have got what should I say, reference book. Okay, so many things. Now these are the 4 types of expository writing are chronological or sequence, and the second one is compare contrast, third one is cause and effect, and last one is problem solution. Okay, yes. So these are very important. Whenever you read something in a textbook, the information I told you, okay, the writer always have some purpose. What is the purpose? Okay, yes. So according to their purpose, they use this, what should I say, strategies. Okay, these types of different writing. Sometimes they use chronological, okay, where they relate, where they explain something in an order form, okay, chronology, according to the date, according to the events, how the event occurs, okay. And then we have got compare and contrast. Sometimes the writers talk about something and then they try to, what should I say, explain the similarities and differences. So they use compare and contrast, okay. And sometimes the writer comes up with one problem and then they come with what should I say, different kind of solution. And sometimes the writer, they talk about the causes and the effect. Okay, because of this, so many things came. So many things came. Why? Because of this. Now these are the 4 types of informational writing. I repeat: chronological, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem solution. So I have already got a few videos on these topics. Okay, yes. So if you are interested, you can watch this. Okay, yes. And then we move on to understanding the text structure. Now up to this, we basically talk about the writing, how your writing should be. Now we are talking about the reading. So when we read different type of textbook, a reference book, a magazine, like this. Now whenever we come across this, we come across the text structure. It's important for us to know the different type of text structure. Oh, this is chronological. Okay, this is compare and contrast. This is cause and effect. This is problem solution. Whenever you get a piece of reading material, it's important for you to identify what type of text structure is this. Okay, these are the text structures used by the writer. Okay, yes. So when we talk about the different text structure, we have to also we have to also be aware of the signal words or the clue words. These will give you a clue. This will give you some idea. Okay, yes, this will help you. Just like a signpost. Okay, the signpost will guide you, help you. Okay, yes. So we have got all these types of writing. Now these are some of the signal words related to these, okay, different types of writing. For example, chronological. these are the signal words: first, next, later, then, finally. If you come across these words often, you can conclude that that piece of writing is chronological. Okay, and then we have got both, similarly, but, while. If you come across these words again and again, then that small piece of writing may be compare and contrast. Why? Because these are the signal words, these are the clue words related to compare and contrast. Okay, and then cause, effect, as a result, consequently, so. Okay, yes, if you come across this in your small piece of reading, you can get some idea that whatever you are reading for the past few minutes, it's a cause and effect type. Okay, and then problem and solution, from the word itself speaks. Okay, that type of what should I say, that information writing is, or a piece of reading is, problem and solution. Okay, so these are the skills that you need to understand when you are reading. Okay, now we are talking about the reading. Okay, yes, and then we have got understanding text structure, and we have got understanding text features. Okay, yes, when I say understanding text structure, how that structure is made purposely by the writer. And when we talk about the text features, we are talking about the features such as nose, mouth, ear, where is that ear, what is the main word, all these things. So understanding text features, what are the topics that we have covered? Okay, yes, table of contents. We talk about index. I've also given you an example. Okay, yes. Next time, whenever you go to library, or whenever you open one reference book or textbook, you will come across all these things. Now, after attending the lesson, okay, after attending this session, now you will be able to identify, okay, this is a textbook. Okay, this particular letter is in bold letter, or this is italicized. So this may be because of this. This is the glory. This is the title. Okay, this is the subheading. Now you will get some idea. Okay, and all these text features, okay, they have their own, what should I say, responsibility. It has got its own meaning. Okay, so as a student, as someone who has to read books and reference or textbook, it's important for you to be familiar with these text features. Okay, text features and text structures. Okay, yes, and then we move on to reading or poetry. Okay, yes, there are different genres. We have got poetry, we have got prose, we have got drama. All these are different. Okay, there are different strategies related to all these things. Okay, poetry is different from prose, and prose is different from drama. Okay, so in the poetry reading, what did we learn? Okay, yes, in the poetry, first we talk about the different types of poems we write. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to know how to write all these poems. According to your own interest. Some of you may be interested in writing haiku poem, or some of you may be interested in writing limerick. So it doesn't mean that you have to know all these things. But these are some of the different types of poem people write. Okay, yes, we have also taken some session on this. And if you are interested in writing, if you are interested in learning more about these things, and you have got a whole lot of resources in the internet. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, we talk about the different types of poems. Okay, and most importantly, we talk about the different structure. What are the structure? How is poetry made? Okay, so when it comes to structure of the poetry, now these are the things that you have to keep in mind. These are the things you will find in a piece of a poem. Okay, for example, a stanza, you have the rhythm, you have the rhyme, you have close verse, free verse, close verse and free verse. Okay, when we say close verse, and then that stanza or the poem follows particular rhyming pattern. Okay, when I say free verse, it does not follow any proper, okay, particular rhyming pattern or rhyming scheme. It's free verse from the word itself. Okay, now this is the structure, how the poetry is made. So you see, this will be totally different from the prose. Okay, the prose, we don't have any stanza, we don't have any rhythm, we don't have any rhyme. So in that way, poetry becomes different from prose. Okay, yes. Now we talk about how to study a poem. Okay, there is no way we can stay away from reading a poem. Okay, the reading a poem It's there in our textbook. In our textbook, we have got all these things. We have got prose, we have got poem, we have got drama like this. Now, when it comes to poem, okay, what are the things that you have to keep in? You have to at least read 3, okay, 3 times. Okay, the first one, just to get some general idea about the poem, you read the title, you may find some kind of illustration there, okay, the first reading. And in the second reading, what do? Since poetry is a spontaneous overflow of emotion, emotion means feeling, there are so many words related to the feelings. And now in the second reading, you just try to look at all the words, okay, and then you will get some idea, okay, what this poem is about. Is it talking about a good feeling? Is it talking about the bad feeling? Is it talking about some dangerous event? Or so many things, okay, the words will speak, okay. So in the second reading, you just pay attention to all these words related to feeling. You just talk about, what should I say, the different figure of speech. What are the figure of speech? Is there any personification? Is there any simile? Is there any metaphor? Is there any? Now, there are so many figure of speech. You just try to pay attention. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to understand each and everything. No, okay. Since it's a second reading, you just try to get some idea. Okay, and in the third reading, now you have done 3 reading, at least you will get some idea, okay, what the poet is trying to say. What is your interpretation of this poem? Okay, yes. Now, these are the things that you have to do in the third reading. So, what I want you to do is, whenever you find a piece of poem, you just at least do 3 reading, okay. No matter how good you are, you won't be able to comprehend, won't be able to get the main idea of the poem just by reading only once. Like these 3, okay. So, if you are interested in reading more, it's well and good, okay, yes. And then in the poem, we talk about the literary devices. Okay, devices are very important. I also told you that as a student, it's very important for you to collect as many devices as you can, because it is these devices which will help you. The poem and all these things, sometimes you may forget, and sometimes this poem plays very important role, and on the other hand, this poem does not have any value like this. Okay, it depends upon your standard. But as far as that devices are concerned, these devices can be put in your pocket. It can be for your use anytime. Okay, yes. So, whenever we study a poem, the poets use different kind of devices in order to make their poem beautiful and very good. Okay, yes. So, in the literary device, we talk about so many literary devices. These are just few examples. Okay, as you go to higher class, you will be introduced to some more literary devices. Okay, yes, these are the things. Starting from the lower class and class 8. Okay, yes, rhythm, onomatopoeia, rhyme, simile, metaphor. Okay, yes. So, we talked about all these things, and if you are interested in learning more about this, you just go through the videos that were uploaded in Tibet TV YouTube, and you just try to find the same thing in any other language. Okay, yes, Hindi or Tibetan, and whenever you come across any lyric, any song, I told you the songs, they have got lots and lots of figurative languages. There are so many things. Okay, when you talk about Tibetan song or Hindi song or Chinese or English, these lyrics, these songs are filled with lots and lots of figurative language, because the songs have got some feeling. Okay, yes, some goodness or some bad, okay, bad things. Okay, yes. And then we talk about the context. We are talking about the vocabulary. Vocabulary plays very important role. Sometimes you get stuck in the middle of your reading just because you come across some unfamiliar words. Okay, yes. Of course, we have got dictionary on one side, but before relying on dictionary, it's better you develop this kind of skill. Okay, we have this context clue. A good writer will never introduce a new unfamiliar words to the reader without giving some hint. A good writer will always give us the hint. Okay, yes. So, where do we find this? We find the meaning right in the context itself. Okay. So, we used to say, okay, student, whenever you come across any unfamiliar words, before referring to the dictionary, you just try to read all the words that are around that particular word. You will get some idea. So, what is he or she finally saying? That he or she is talking about the context clue. So when the writer use context clue, there are different ways in which he or she use the context clue, and I which is introduce you to all these things. So a context clue, sometimes it can come in an inference, sometimes synonyms, sometimes antonyms, sometimes the word definition itself is there in the context, and sometimes you will get by looking at the example given. Okay, so these are the context clue. We have got one full video on the context clue, and then I talked about the word relation. Okay, yes, it's important. Whenever you come across word, you have to also be familiar with the relation. What are the different which are relatives of that particular words? Okay, we talk about the synonym, antonym, homonym, connotation and denotation. So I told you about connotation and denotation. Okay, the difference, denotation, you will get some idea. Definition, what is the exact? Okay, that is the exact meaning of that word. Okay, connotation, it's different. It has got the word which has got some kind of feeling. I remember telling you about which is a example of connotation and denotation. Okay, whenever we come across word, okay, we have to get the meaning of that word in both in terms of connotation and denotation. So these are the different types of word relation. Last but not the least, okay, we talked about the common errors. That was what I did yesterday. There are some common errors that we tend to make. Okay, yes. I've just given you some of the example. For example, run-on sentence, parallelism, sentence fragment, misplace or dangling modifier, and redundancy. These are some of the common errors. Okay, yes. So if you are interested in knowing this, you just try to type this word redundancy in the Google, and then you will get some idea. Okay, what are the different common errors we have? Okay, yes. So with this, I think I'm done with all the recapitulation. Okay, yes. If I've missed some points here and there, I request you to go through the which is the videos that were uploaded. Okay, yes. So with this, I'm going to stop my session, and we have got 2 more sessions coming up, Ketenshula and myself, where we are going to talk about some of the websites and apps related to English. Okay, yes. So till then, take care. Thank you.